Today is primarily focused on how you can become debt-free this year, okay? Now, or at the very least, get on the path, right? Establish a foundation, establish a strategy, a belief system for you to become debt-free in a period of time, let's say anywhere from 5 to 7 years or less. And technically speaking, if we want to become debt-free this year, depending on how much debt you have, right? Let's say you are the average American that has multiple 6 figures of debt, or let's say at least over 100,000 of consumer debts, and then maybe 2, 3, 4, 500K of a mortgage, right? So if you're in that ballpark, 100 to 500, maybe upwards of $1 million or more of debt, that is a large number to become debt-free this year in 1 year, right? So I don't want you to get confused by the title, how you can become debt-free this year. It's really referring to how you can get on board with that idea of becoming debt-free, of eliminating all these different financial obligations that you have to institutions, banks, lenders, you name it, right? Developing the strategy, developing the foundation, developing the belief system for you to achieve that. But if we wanted to get technical and say, well, yeah, how can I become debt-free this year? There's only one way to do it that I know how. And that's literally to 10x your income. That's literally to increase income at a dramatic rate, right? So I say 10x, right? So wherever you're at currently, if you were to 10x your net after-tax take-home income, and you did that for 12 consecutive months, there's a very, 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 very high chance you would just simply write a check in month 12 and just pay off all your debts, or if you did it in chunks, right? So that's just being technical with the title. But for everyone else that is coming out of 2024 and you're like, okay, I did not take advantage of 2024. I dropped the ball, or I've been dropping the ball the last few years, ever since COVID or even before then. And you're just like, okay, it's the new year, it's 2025. You're setting new goals, new standards, new expectations, right? And you want to achieve exactly what you want to look for, okay? We need to develop, right, those initial ground game, pre-game work, foundational steps to help us get to that next phase in life. And we're going to figure out what have you been doing that we're going to do different this year to achieve a different goal, okay? The majority of people watching this YouTube channel have lots of debts. And for many of you watching, even the 26 people live at this very moment, that have a desire to either become debt-free or pay off a majority of your debt, okay? You have come to the conclusion that that's what you want to do, right? You're not in this kind of limbo, should I pay off debt? Should I invest? Should I not? So we're not having that kind of a discussion today. This is purely for people who have come to the conclusion, yes, Denzel, this is my goal this year. I want to pay off massive amounts of debts. I want to create the strategy to remove as much debt as humanly possible. And I need the accountability. I need the education. I need the wisdom. I need the support. I need the training. I need it all. This video is exactly for you. Okay? And then for those that have been following me for a while now and your clients, this is a refresher. This is a reminder, right? Be sure to be booking calls with me one-to-one. Make sure you're tapped in. Make sure you're being held accountable, right? Take advantage of me, right? I am a resource. I'm an asset, especially if you paid money to work with me one-to-one. And it's been a year since we had a phone call, or 6 months since we had a phone call, or 2 years. What's so interesting, and it happens like clockwork, the month of January, February, and March, I find myself connecting or reconnecting with clients that I haven't spoken with in maybe 2 years, maybe 3 years. And it's for a number of different reasons. Sometimes it's literally because they just were not ready when they first signed up with me. So they were like, hey, I respect your work. I want to lock you in at the price that you're offering now. I'm just not ready to work with you. My head's not here. I just got a divorce. I just lost a spouse, or, there was a death in the family, and I'm just not, like, my headspace is just not there yet. That's one aspect. The second is we started working together. And when you first signed up in 2018, 2019, 2020, you were doing awesome. Things were going great. And once I got you out of that initial desperate position that you were in financially, and you were like, I need help. Once I got you out of there into independence, what tends to happen is when we don't continue to hold ourselves accountable, we think we have all this wisdom. We think we're so smart that we can just all of a sudden continue to do these strategies, these financial principles and strategies all on our own, right? But not realizing, hey, for the last 45 years, for the last 25 years, you were living this way in debt. And you've only been working with me for 1 year, 2 years, maybe 2.5 years. And we had tremendous results, not knocking that down. We've been doing awesome together. You're making all this progress. You're saving all this money on interest. You're getting all this cash flow back. But mind you, and I would warn my clients, I'd say, hey, you're going to get to a point where you'll feel like I've taught you everything you need to know. And then you're going to stop booking calls with me because you're an independent man, woman, husband, wife, and you're going to go off and do great things. But I want to warn you that at this level, this is a level you've never reached before. This comes with new problems. This comes with new temptations. This comes with new deceptions, new manipulations that you may not be ready for. All I'm saying, keep me in mind. Be sure that when you get to this level of, say, debt-free, right? This is a new level that many of you watching have never actually experienced before. And so the common theme for those watching and catching the replay, when you decided to become debt-free and you decided to go on this financial freedom journey and this financial independence journey, understand that if you've never been debt-free before, and then you get there with these new strategies that you learn from this channel and maybe other channels, right? From my coaching and maybe someone else's coaching, and you successfully got there, you became debt-free, you've got triple the amount of cash flow than when you first started, your income's higher, your expenses are down, life is great. I warn you of the new problems you're gonna face, okay? These problems can be things like trauma, past trauma that you've gone through in your life, and you are now in unfamiliar territory. You're a debt-free man, you're a debt-free woman, you're a debt-free household. You are now in unfamiliar territory. You are prone, you are vulnerable to being attacked in many different ways, spiritually, financially, emotionally, like all the different ways. And if you haven't settled or dealt with past trauma in your life around money or around spiritual matters, financial matters, all the different things, okay? You may find yourself going back into debt unknowingly. And then you're hitting me up 2 years later, now it's 2025, you're like, Denzel, I over-leveraged my HELOC, I wasn't following your rules, I did not borrow, 2/3, I max funded this, and I got involved in this scam over here, I got abused over here. I'm like, oh my goodness. Well, I wish I would have been in contact with you before, because I would have been able to point out new things that we just didn't have conversations about when you were at this level, because it wasn't necessary to have it, right?